Hi there. So in this video we will look into MetaGrid and how to make a use of it in Logic Pro. So I have went through a few other digital audio workstations in previous videos, so here I will focus specifically that how Logic Pro users would benefit of using MetaGrid in their workflow. So let's get going. Okay, so let's look at it. Here I have now the Logic Pro, and then I have in the upper corner, right corner, the iPad screen shared. There I have my template already that I have created for Logic Pro. And for example, I can go and recall a plugin in the selected channel or then close it. I could also go and add a plugin into this one if I want to use Pro L. So it gets inserted, or if I would like to use BX Solo. So that's basically how I can deal with this. Then if I want to open them or close them, then that's basically where I can go into the different plugin slots and close them all. Or then if I want to just open the last one, I can go and recall that. So how I have done it is that in Logic Pro you can actually have this. You can actually have the key commands, and you can create these. If you search plugin and then you scroll down, you can actually open close an audio insert in one plugin. So in a focus track. So you need to of course go and define these, and then respectively let's go there, let's edit this, or let's do so that we go here, let's edit this. Now if I select that button and I look the macro, you can create a keyboard shortcut macro like I have done, and then you just define that what it is, opt command 3. And then it will basically run that macro for you. The macro could be even more complex, but this is an example of a very handy way of opening and closing plugins in a track. And as you saw also, I have done a window where I can actually, with Command Control P, which is the new command, Control Command and P is giving you the search, and it will insert the plugin into it. So what I have done here is that I have basically few steps. I have that, then it will sleep for 10 seconds, and then it will type the name of the plugin that I want to recall, and then it waits 10 seconds, and then it presses return. So basically then the plugin gets selected as you saw. So now when I'm here, I can actually then go and press, and then it will bring the plugin for me. So this is how you can create these macros. And then let's go back to the basics and let's look into the content manager. So in the content manager, you can actually manage all the content of these different grids. You can actually bring the presets. There are ready-made presets for different digital audio workstations and apps in general. What I have done is I have taken a preset and then modified that for my use. You could also create a totally empty test. Let's do a grid test type of a grid, and then create one and plain grid. It could also create a scene. The scene is one that you see on the left hand side. If I go here, I have two scenes. I have the one that is the main, and then I have the second scene that I have for plugins, so that I can always go there no matter where I am. When I tap that scene, it will bring me to the plugin selection to insert the new plugin. And then you can go back to the content. So in scenes, if I would like to now add that as a second grid, I can do that as well by selecting it from here. When I'm done, now I have toggle that toggles between these two grids. But I want to also work on the layout, so I'm gonna clear everything. Then I could basically create a merge and then just create a button. And then if I click on there, I can go and define what the button is. I can of course bring in different commands. I can bring in the commands that relates to deep integration with Logic Pro X. So for example, now I have basically the command sets that are predefined. So piano roll, I can basically go into sampler, smart editor. So there is a plenty of already pre-made things, but like what I had done with my recall of plugins, so I could also use that. So I could just basically do a keyboard command, simply, for example, a return or a basically an enter, and so now, for example, if I try to run it, then with return it will actually start from the beginning. Then with enter it will basically, or actually if I could actually do a space, so then now it will basically start and stop and start and stop. And then what I could do here now when I have this done is that I could have this as a dual mode. So latching switch when it is off, when it is on, and I could basically then bring, for example, when it is off, I could bring in a from Logic library, I could bring in the play icon. I could use it as a whole. Then for the latch mode, I could actually then bring the from Logic Pro the stop. Let's see if we have it somewhere. No, let's put the pause just to demonstrate the idea of it, and maybe just let's change the color as well to something else, so red. And now when we are done, like now when I play, it plays, and then when I press again, no, why it didn't launch? I need to check out the yeah, I need to check out the object itself. Latch on. Come on. Okay, so it didn't copy the keyboard shortcut over there, so let's go here as well. Usually it should, but I guess I didn't toggle it, so it didn't copy it. Now when I'm done, it's basically, of course, now doing it differently. But now, for example, start, stop, start, stop. So that's one type of a control. Then you can also do a bigger area and create a merge and add, for example, you could add a fader. And then the fader you can of course define macro, or you could, here basically the macro is that it sends MIDI information to your digital audio workstation. And in that respect, you could basically then, for example, control your, for example, your virtual instruments or any that you wanna basically program the MIDI channel that is using and CC that it is sending. So let's do this as a simple one. So let's go here and so you have different options, of course. They have extremely good document on this one, so you can easily kind of do your things here in that respect. Just an example to do it like this. But yeah, let's go here. And for example, if I would like to now, let's go here. I would like to add a, for example, an instrument track, and then I would go an instrument and let's select just simple BA1. And then now if I have it open, for example, now I can use the button that I used here for basically opening and closing the plugin. But then let's go into the area where I could basically let's see, FM. Like if I go here and I could basically then put a MIDI learn on, select this one, and then this one. Now you can see that from iPad I can actually control that FM amount, and of course I could program this in all to basically to the MetaGrid Pro and control the whole, you know, synthesizer from here. But this is just an example how and what you can do with MetaGrid and what type of controls there are. I don't have the full advanced version of it, so in that sense I'm not able to use all the ones that are here, but fader, gesture, button, fader, and text, of course, I'm able to use. And then, but that's what I have noticed, that at least has been enough for me when creating these. And as you see here, I have a quite comprehensive section or section of these. Let's see actually what I have. Shift Opt Command I. So it seems I don't have that mapping here. I tested it in a different Mac. So let's see here is the open close plugin. So it's basically what we want to have is a Shift Option Command and I, and now that is mapped. So now I should be able to use that button to kind of like when I'm in this track to open and close that. Yeah, and then if I would like to bring in like a compressor, then I would like to bring in a another compressor, or maybe a EQ, or maybe a saturation. So I can all basically now recall using this. Then if I go here and I want to close these in a way that they are not visual, I can do that. Then if I need to recall, for example, the compressor, I can do that. I can also bring in, of course, the coloring in. I can show the controls for it, the smart controls. I could bring in the mixer. I could also look into, for example, if I have this selected, to editor, and then I have these. I have actually defined two different views. Usually I have 8 and 9. The one is for tracks, and the other one is for. So if I now let's go here, we have that selected. I think that was second. So if I now go and recall the mixer, then I have the mixer now in front of me. If I press the edit, it will bring me the edit. So I have defined these screen sets 8 and 9, which for me is always 8 is basically edit and 9 is the mixer. So I can quickly switch between a full mixer and full arrangement. And then of course I have a button that I could recall the embedded mixer here if and when needed. But yeah, of course there has been a lot of other things about Logic and itself, but in general this is how you can program these. This gives you some ideas what you can do with Logic Pro and MetaGrid together. Then of course if you would have this, so you could basically also, like if I go here, I want to add a marker, I just press that one button. I want to add another marker, I would want to add a third marker, so I can easily do that. Then I can jump with this to quickly into that spot, or then go previous and next marker. If I would like to basically then loop this one, I can bring that in and then put the cycle on, so that then I can easily then cycle it. And what I could also do is that if I'm actually zooming in the screen and specific area, I could use that. I have a full zoom where it zooms everything into the screen what I have. And then I can go back to basically the previous one that was set in my case, or then back to full, or then back to the content if I want to zoom into that. So yeah, but anyway, you have a lot of different options. You can very easily program these, as you saw. You can define your own layout, you can bring in your own controls, then you in object you can then define the macros, and of course, like there was ability to do keyboard shortcuts, mouse action, text. You can also activate an application if you want to, keyboard maestro, Apple shortcuts, and then menu commands. So you can actually recall a menu command also if you don't want to use or map a key. And then of course you had Logic Pro specific macros that you can utilize, and that I have done actually in that respect. So let's look some of. So like show hide editor macro, show hide mixer, smart controls, colors macro. What else? This is actually what I defined my own. Actually show hide selected track. That's easy. That's actually handy because sometimes you just wanna basically then show and select certain tracks and then only have those visual. Then when you bring in the mixer as well, you only have those, and then you can toggle between. Something that I use a lot is also bounce in place, so I can easily then call it from here, and then of course go from left to right to kind of move the loop, or go to the right and left of it, or then if I want to go to a marker 1 or marker 3. So that's basically when you can then basically select these and it auto selects now the things. But anyway, this concludes how you could benefit from this. I would say that in a way this is actually pretty versatile, a bit more versatile than a Stream Deck with the standard buttons. So I have now lately used a MetaGrid Pro more than a Stream Deck with my digital audio workstation, and specifically with Logic. It makes things a bit more convenient. You can actually create quite large buttons, as you see in my screen as well. So that's basically, those are the pros. I don't know many cons of it. I find it very useful for my workflow, but of course we all are different, so you might kind of feel it otherwise. Anyway, I think this concludes the session. Alrighty, so that was Logic Pro X and how to utilize MetaGrid Pro with Logic Pro X. Hopefully you got some ideas regarding on how that could improve your workflow, what could you do with it, what type of control it supports, and the extensive kind of deeper integration that it has with Logic. The deep integration is not supported with all, but with Logic it is, so you'll benefit a bit more from it with Logic than with, for example, with Luna. I'm sure they are developing their things for deeper integration with other digital audio workstations, and there is already, like you saw with Cubase, Ableton, and a few others. Anyway, remember to like my videos if you like them. And then also subscribe for my channel for more content. Thanks for watching by now, and let's catch up again with the new topics.